Hey everybody, I just wanted to make a quick video on caliber adapters or gauge adapters as they're sometimes called. I've made a few before in different formats, but basically what I'm talking about is sometimes they're called sub-caliber devices. There are lots of companies that make them. And what it is a little gun barrel. Okay, this particular one was made by a company called Short Lane, and it converts a 410 shotgun to shoot 38 special. And it's just a little gun barrel. And this is smooth bore. They have different there's some with rifling. Short Lane has some with rifling. You can buy this set of 6 from sportsmansguide.com, and they are the same length as a 45 Colt, and they shoot 22 long rifle. And they do have a tiny bit of rifling. They're not very long, as you can see. They're longer or shorter than the 38 special one, because this is made for 410 chambers, so this is 2.5 inches long, and this is only as long as a 45 Colt. But these do have a little bit of rifling, and these actually work quite well and are really very accurate, and the bullet flies stable. It doesn't keyhole. They're not very powerful because you're essentially, the cartridge is about, the 22 long rifle cartridge is about this long, and you just have a tiny bit of barrel, and then, so it's like shooting a 22 out of a Derringer. It's a very small barrel, essentially. But these are just little gun barrels, is what they are. And they fit in, this is my Taurus Raging Judge, which is, an oversized revolver. But it has a 410 45 cylinder. And you can stick this, which is 38 special. They make 9mm, 380, 32 ACP. They make, I don't know, there's lots of other ones. A 22 Magnum. But it just fits right there. And this is the 22 long rifle. Well, these, since they're the same size as a 45 Colt, will just fit into a regular 45 Colt. You don't need the long 410 chamber. And that's why they're designed this way. And these, it's kind of cool if you have a single action 45 Colt revolver. You can load these up, and then you can just flip your gate open and use your ejector rod to eject out the 22s and then load them. If you don't have an ejector rod, most of these, like these, some of them have a little fingernail groove that you can pop the empty cartridge out, but a lot of them you have to have a stick. So like I've got a little, this is just a sucker stick off like a lollipop, and when you fire them, you fire all 6 of them, you eject them out of your gun, and then you just take this stick and pop the empty out and load another one in there. But you just load them in your chamber, and they have their own barrel. They have their own chamber and their own barrel, and it just fires the much smaller 22 long rifle bullet or 38 special bullet down the much larger 45 caliber barrel. It's just a very simple concept. A lot of people have a hard time understanding what they are because it's kind of a different idea. And if I ever put anything on Facebook or anything like that, I have a lot of people get really angry at me, like, this is a new idea to me, and I'm angry that you like this, or angry that you are interested in this because it's weird and you're weird and I hate you. I get a lot of that. I don't know why. It just seems to upset people. but it really does work. Like I said, this set of 6, which, I mean, I realize you could hunt rabbits with this, with a light 410 load. You could hunt them with the 410 shotgun. But, I like to hunt rabbits, and I do have 22 rifles and stuff, but this set of 6 of these was only $50. And I have fun with it. You use the sights on the gun, you just close it up, and you get 6 shots at 22, bang, bang, bang. And it'll kill a rabbit. It really will. It works fine. It's not, extremely accurate, but it's plenty accurate. And it's a way that you can take like a huge pistol like this, and instead of buying another one, buying a 22 revolver, you could turn your revolver into a 22. Obviously, if you wanted cheap plinking, like you want to practice with your gun, like people buy snap caps to practice trigger control and stuff like that. Snap caps are just like a dummy round. They don't actually fire, but sort of an alternative to do that is you could load up your revolver with 22 ammo and take it out to the range, and something like this, if you have it, is going to kick quite a bit, and it's going to be expensive to shoot. And so you can practice aiming, practice trigger control, things like that, with a much less expensive round, like a 22 cartridge, or 9mm or whatever it is that you want to use. And it's just so cheap shooting, like I said, small game hunting. A lot of people like them for like survival type situations, or the bug out bag idea that you might not always have the gun to shoot the cartridges that you have. But that doesn't really appeal to me that much. I just think it's fun, and they're really cheap. That 38 special one I had there was, I think I paid like $15 for it from Short Lane. This one here is a 17 HMR. I could shoot 17 HMR out of my Raging Judge or out of my 410 break action shotgun. They also fit in 410 break. It's just a single barrel break open shotgun, and you just stick this in there, stick a 17. It's got its own barrel in here, and it just fires the tiny 17 barrel or cartridge or bullet down the open barrel. It doesn't use the barrel on your existing gun at all. This is its own barrel. It has its own chamber and its own barrel. It's just like a single shot rifle. You're just using the hammer from your gun to set off the primer. It's its own barrel. That's, people get confused, like, how does that, but it's not that crazy when you think about it. But yeah, I can take my 410 shotgun out, load it with 17s. It just has a front sight. That's what's nice about like this pistol, is it's got the rear sight and the front sight. But shotgun just has a front sight. But I can hit decently with it, an area about like this. I can hit 17s. Again, hunt rabbits at a distance with 410 shotgun and 17 HMR. There's just lots of options. I enjoy it. Apparently it's not for everybody, because like I said, I've had a lot of people get really hostile when I've said, well, hey, this is something I like, and they're like, I'm mad now. You have angered me because it's just a concept I'm not familiar with. Like I said, I don't care if you like it. I like it, and I enjoy it. There are some practical applications and some that maybe aren't so much, but like this 17, I paid $11 for it on eBay. Look up caliber adapters on eBay, $11. You can also, shoot them out of a 12 gauge, obviously, 16 gauge. I recently had a friend that bought a 16 gauge. and I bought him a 16 gauge to 22 adapter, so he could. 16 gauges are kind of hard to find, kind of expensive. Gave him a little more, um, just some different options, and you can get like 16 gauge to 410 gauge, which 410 bore is easier to find. 410s are easy to find and much less expensive than 16 gauge. Likewise, I think you can go 28 gauge to 410. You can go 10 gauge to 20 gauge. And then you are actually using the barrel. You're using the choke. Like, say, if you have a full choke 10 gauge and you put a 20 gauge adapter in it, the 20 gauge fires and the shot does get as wide as the 10 gauge barrel, but that's okay because there's a full choke at the end of that. And even though it's just like having a 10 gauge shell loaded with, say, 1 ounce of shot instead of 2 ounces of shot. So if you wanted to shoot blue rock or smaller game like doves or something with a 10 gauge shotgun, which is really quite large, and the 10 gauge shells are very expensive, you can just pop, say you have a double barrel, you can pop 2 of those in there and 2 20 gauge shells and use the 20 gauge, which is much less expensive and less powerful. You're not gonna, say, during pheasant season, if you're hunting with a 10 gauge for some reason and you're going into a thicket where there are some quail, you could put 20 gauge in your 10 gauge so you don't blow the quail to bits. It's just a thought. Like I said, there's not there's not an extreme amount of practical applications for them, but they are really cheap, and so it's just fun. I mean, and there are a few practical applications, but it's just fun. I mean, like I said, $50 for 6 of these. I have lots of 45 caliber revolvers, and I can shoot 22 long rifle out of any of them if I feel like it, and I enjoy that. And it was $50. I can buy individual ones, and I have individual ones for my shotguns. All of my break action shotguns I can just shoot 22s out of if I feel like it. And you can hit a coffee can at, 30, 40 paces with a shotgun with just the bead, and a 22, and it's fun. So, take it easy.